Thurman sells. Thurman can sell. Thurman's marketable. Thurman and Spence is an extremely marketable fight. I think it would do well on pay-per-view. Well enough for Al Heyman to want to put it on next if Thurman looks good in his next fight. So I have no reason to believe that Thurman and Spence won't be next if Thurman beats Barrios convincingly. And even if he doesn't beat Barrios convincingly, they still have They could have Errol Spence fighting the winner of the WBA tournament, Butiev or Stayonis. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't think Errol Spence is fighting Terence Crawford next. Whether he signs PBC, whether he beats Ugas, I think it's all irrelevant. But you guys can live in Candyland. I'm gonna see reality. I'm gonna see 6, 7 months, 9 months ahead of you guys, and I'll be right here to talk about Errol Spence. And listen, I was a huge Errol Spence fan. I still like Errol Spence, but I call a spade a spade. Since the year of 2018, when Terence Crawford came into the division, Errol Spence Jr. has been on this diva A-side bullshit. That's the reality of it. And it may sound bitter, it may sound a certain type of way, but I really have a hard time getting excited about anything he does that doesn't involve Terence Crawford. Now, if he was fighting Jerron or someone like that, okay, I'll be excited for that. Ugas is a good fight, but if you're expecting me to get like over the moon and because I can Hiro, because you're saved, you know the Lord. The Lord just gives some people some gifts. Like he gave me the idea to see he gave me the great character trait of seeing things before they happen. And I already know if he beats Ugas, he's not fighting Crawford next. He's gonna fight Thurman next, or he's gonna fight Butiev or Stanionis. That's who he's gonna fight. And when that happens, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna stick my freaking finger in this camera, I'm gonna say I told you so.
Yeah.
I said salute to the untouchable True School Sports Empire.
That's right,
over
be untouchable.
Not only the South Florida boxing scene, but the worldwide boxing scene.
It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, it doesn't really come as any surprise to me because I told you guys in 2021, I told you guys in 2022, and in 2023, it's about that time. The time I prophesized about since like early last year is here. So I'm gonna stick my finger in this camera and say I told you so, because Errol Spence Jr. They're finalizing his next fight. The reports have been all over the internet today, all over social media, and he's fighting Keith one-time Thurman. Now, finally, this fight has been many years in the making. It obviously doesn't mean now what it once did back, let's say 2016, 2017-ish. But it's a good fight. It's an entertaining fight. But it's good that it's happening. But I gotta say, this is some of, and I hate to use this word because I don't like putting fighters down, because at the end of the day, who am I? But gotta call a spade a spade. This is some of the most fraudulent stuff I've seen in boxing in a long time. Now let me explain to you guys what I mean. Errol Spence Jr. is not even fighting Keith Thurman. He doesn't even have the common decency to fight Keith Thurman at 147. He's fighting Keith Thurman at 154. He got a special grant from the sanctioning bodies to still have his titles while he's at 154 taking his fight. So now he's going to have about, I believe, 60 days to make the fight with Crawford happen. And if not Crawford, if he can't get a deal done with Crawford, then he has to fight the winner of Virgil Ortiz versus Stanionis. So effectively, what this really means, guys, and I'm just going to get ahead of it now, is that Errol Spence's run as a welterweight is officially done. He is not coming back. At least I don't think he is. If he comes back to 47, then full credit to him. I'll humble myself and admit I was wrong. But I don't think he's come back to 47. Why? Because Errol Spence just 2 months ago was on Twitter when he was arguing with Terence Crawford on Twitter about purse splits and expenditures and transparency and all that bullshit. He was complaining and crying about how he can't make 147 anymore. Which, okay, we know we know that for years. Errol Spence is big as hell for 147. He's been big as hell for 147. The guy walks around at like 180 or 190 when he's not walk around weight. So big guy. It's always been like a sharp weight cut for Errol Spence. So he's not coming back to 47. If he's fighting at 54 and he's already there, and PBC already has, guys like Tony Harrison, Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, and a whole host of other 54 pounders, why would he come back to 47? Why? To fight Jaron Ennis for mandatory challenger? I remember my boy Sean Tatel. Sean Tatel was just interviewing Errol Spence, and he asked Errol in a very respectful manner about fighting Jaron Ennis, and he didn't really seem too thrilled or too ambitious about the idea of fighting Jaron Ennis, and that's not me speculating. That's going off what Errol Spence said. So horrible. I mean, it's horrible. So let's backtrack. So this guy, all we heard for years before the Crawford fight was this guy's gonna basically get his belts, clean up his side of the street, which was like a multiple year, 3-4 year long process, 5 year long process, long ass process to collect the belts on his side of the street. Then it was told to a lot of us that Bob Arum and Top Rank were the issue, that Crawford needed to come to PBC. So then Crawford was a free agent. The negotiations happened, and PBC, Heyman, and all parties involved started being a little funny, which is why we got this shit show known as Crawford versus Avanesian instead of getting what boxing fans wanted, which is Crawford versus Spence. So now he said he was going to circle the block, and I guess his car, his car or his truck or SUV or whatever he likes to drive, it must have ran out of fuel. Maybe he needed to get a tune-up. Maybe he needed to change the transmission, or he had a flat tire because he's not even on the same street anymore. He's not even in the same neighborhood. Errol Spence done located to a whole new neighborhood. He done left the middle class area of the welterweight division and moved to the rich area, the gentrified area of the 154 division. What's going on, champ? What's going on, Errol Spence? What happened to all that circle the block talk? What happened to all that I want to be the undisputed welterweight champion of the world talk? What happened to all of this I will never fight Keith one-time Thurman talk? It's despicable. He's not fighting Thurman at Thurman's real weight class. So he's being afforded the advantage of fighting at a weight that's not his weight, because this is a clear indication he can't make 147 anymore, and that's what he was telling us, right? So he can't make 47 anymore. So he's not going to fight Crawford. He will more than likely vacate his belts, if not before, then after this fight. And then who knows what's next? But all this on top of the fact that he's literally not fought a mandatory. You guys can tell me. I think his last mandatory was probably Ocampo, and that was probably what? Let's see. I'm going to say that was 2018, but I could be wrong. It could have been 2019, but I'm going to say Spence versus Ocampo was probably 2018. Let me make sure, because I want to make sure that as I'm sitting here telling the truth about the truth, that I have my dates and my facts correct. So he fought Carlos Ocampo on June 16th, 2018. So we're talking about half a decade ago. Errol Spence has not fought a mandatory challenger in half a decade. All right? That's not hyperbole. That's not hating. I know a lot of the Spence fans are going to act like bitches and get in their feelings and, start saying, true school, this guy's a hater, this guy. No, I'm telling the truth. I'm telling you guys the truth about the truth. And you guys are just too sensitive and too soft to hear the truth. He hasn't fought a mandatory since Ocampo, and that was 5 years ago. After he fought Ocampo, he cherry-picked Mikey Garcia, okay? Then he had a glorified tune-up against Danny Garcia. Then he had the only credible fight he's had in years was the Ugas fight, really. And now he's fighting Keith Thurman at 154, which is not his natural weight class. Wow, he hasn't fought a mandatory in 5 years. And the writing is on the wall. The writing is absolutely on the wall. And if you can't see it, if you can't see it, then you're just slow. You probably sat in the back of the bus and sniffed Elmer's glue. So that's on you guys. But that's the news. Errol Spence fighting Keith Thurman. I'll say this, man. It's a good fight. I'm sure it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good night of boxing. I hope they stack the undercard. I know it'll be a great build-up. I don't think Keith Thurman is as washed as everybody thinks. Keith Thurman is still one of the smartest fighters in the welterweight. They're not fighting at welterweight, so it's null and void what I'm saying. But he's one of the smarter fighters in boxing, IQ wise, and that can still make it very competitive. And I do think he's going to be up for this fight. And I think whatever Keith one-time Thurman has left, we're going to get absolutely every last bit of it. And that's what it's going to be. And if he can win, wow, what what a way to come back. You know, if Keith Thurman can beat Errol Spence, to me, that's like saving the welterweight division, because ever since Errol Spence got a belt, this division has gone to shit. Ever since he got a belt and Crawford came into the picture, this division has gone to absolute shit. And I put most of it on him. So Keith Thurman's got, Keith Thurman, truth be told, this division was at its best when Keith Thurman was champion. He was number one. You know, say what you want about him, but he made the fights happen, and they were great fights, and they were exciting fights, and they did great ratings. And he's been a net positive for boxing, you know, in the ring and definitely outside the ring as a commentator and things like that. So I think Keith Thurman has a chance to save this division from Errol Spence. But I've always thought Errol beats him, so I'm gonna stick to that, especially now. But this is like, I've given Canelo a hard time for a lot of things in boxing. I've given Demetrius Andrade a hard time for a lot of things in boxing. And there are some similarities of what Errol Spence is doing right now by keeping his titles at 47 and then fighting another fight, non-title fight in another weight class. You know, Andrade had an arrangement like that just last year with Zach Parker, where he kept the belt at 60 and then was going to fight Parker for the belt at 68. And then the WBO was going to give him time to, decide what he wanted to do if he would have beat Parker. But, then that never happened because of the injury. Canelo fought Golovkin, who wasn't a 68-pounder, never fought a 68. At 168 after he lost to Bivol. So it was a safe fight. So those guys have done some fuck shit like this too, or they've done things like this similar to this. But unlike Errol Spence, those guys actually fought mandatories. Canelo fought mandatories. Andrade fought multiple mandatories. Those guys at least did enough to honor the belts, to honor the championship belts. But there's a dramatic inconsistency going on with the governing bodies and the organizations in Errol Spence Jr. Why like Joe Cordina just he had a hand injury, right? And the IBF said, oh well, no, Rachmanov needs to get his title shot, so we're gonna strip you and then put the belt up for grabs in a vacant fight. And Cordina isn't even champion no more. He has to go get the belt back now, So, but they never kept that same energy when Abdul Kakarov was ranked number one all the years, and Errol Spence never fought Abdul Kakarov. They're not keeping that same energy when it comes to Jaron Boots Ennis, So it's just like, bullshit, man. The biggest bullshit in boxing is Errol Spence. So that's the uncut truth. And if you get mad about this, then you're just sensitive. You can't handle the honesty that's coming out of my mouth right now. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Feelings aside, I am excited for the fight. It's just bullshit, man. Like, leave your comments down below, guys. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.